A new Wordle puzzle is online. Click on the link to play.
Listening to the following video may give you clues. Please like and share the videos.
Mormon criticism of Under the Banner of Heaven. In Under the Banner of Heaven, Dustin Lance Black and Sally Denton make it a point to focus their attention on the wrongdoing committed by Mormons.
Sally Denton's obsession with Mormon wrongdoing, Ron Lafferty's fanaticism, and Ron's preoccupation with French Latter-day Saint teachings are some of the key points to note. Dustin Lance Black's book.
Under the Banner of Heaven is a movie based on the book by John Krakauer, and it tells the story of the Lafferty brothers' journey from mainstream Mormonism to fundamentalism. It follows the Laffertys as they move from pious Mormonism to the fundamentalist Mormon Church, and it includes a compelling narrative relating a string of murders to violent events throughout LDS history.
The movie is directed by Dustin Lance Black, who is also the writer and producer of the film. It will debut on Hulu on April 28.
The movie premieres on Hulu on April 28, 2022. Like the book, the show is well acted and has a unique style that will be intriguing to viewers of all faiths.
Though it does have some issues, this is still a well-acted and thought-provoking movie. The actors are outstanding and the writing is superb.
The film also features some interesting twists and turns. Despite the book's political significance, it has also prompted many discussions about race in Mormonism.
Mormons have long been critics of Native Americans and have used the word Lamanite as a slur to denigrate them. But Black argues that it's the Mormon myth that makes their story more compelling.
It shows that the Mormon race story is a dangerous myth, and that the religious church is not really a religion. This film is the result of a long struggle for the writer to get his story out to the public.
It is not easy to watch a movie about Mormons. But Dustin Lance Black's movie gives us a glimpse of life inside a Mormon family.
He explains how the church's teachings aren't true and reveals the many flaws that plague the religion. In addition to its political messages, Dustin Lance Black's book also deals with the church's past attempts to define marriage.
During the 2008 presidential election, Barack Obama believed in one-man, one-woman marriage and was furious over the politics surrounding Proposition 8 in California. Black is not the only one who takes issue with the church's political maneuvers, but he's certainly not the only one.
Sally Denton's preoccupation with Mormon wrongdoing. Despite the fact that Sally Denton's focus on Mormon wrongdoing is well documented, her preoccupation remains nearsighted.
For example, she fails to mention the fact that the 1864 Mountain Meadows massacre was the largest civilian atrocity on American soil, killing about 140 people. In contrast, the 1864 Sun Creek Massacre was a smaller massacre with roughly the same number of victims.
Under the Banner of Heaven is a controversial book, but Sally Denton's concern with Mormon wrongdoing remains. The author assumes that the Mormon Church has a history of violence and that the earliest members had no way to respond peacefully to such persecution.
The book's narrative is unbalanced by a blatant focus on the Mormon Church despite its attention to the Paiute Massacre. Sally Denton's concern with the Church's involvement in the event remains.
The Lafferty brothers, and later the Lafferty brothers, were motivated by the doctrine of blood atonement, and a small army of Latter-day Saints was enraged by the massacre. In fact, Brigham Young's military strategy included a showdown with polygamous Mormons in Utah Territory.
While Sally Denton's preoccupation with wrongdoing has been clear from the start, her attention to the plight of polygamists is a welcome change of pace. As Krakauer reveals, the Mormon Church's history of wrongdoing is deeply interwoven with that of the Lafferty brothers.
As such, readers will have a hard time disavowing this voyeuristic bias. In addition to exploring the plight of the polygamists, Under the Banner of Heaven also explores the lives of the schizophrenics in the church today.
Despite the fact that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has ceased to recognize and condemn polygamy, extremist Mormon sects continue to operate in the shadow of Mountain Meadows. While this book provides a compelling portrait of two murderers, the story also reveals the strange world of Mormon fundamentalists.
These cultists still marry a large number of women and raise enormous families. They also defy the government and accept welfare payments for single mothers.
Fundamentalism is a huge problem for a country built on religious tolerance. Even though the author does not delve into the nuances of the Mountain Meadows massacre, she still focuses on Brigham Young's role in the massacre.
Ron Lafferty's slip into fanaticism. Under the Banner of Heaven is the story of Ron Lafferty, a former city councilman who fell under the spell of radical fundamentalists.
His brother Dan was the catalyst for the Brothers movement. His brother Dan, however, was a much more unreliable character, claiming to have received a word from God and a vision of heaven.
A fascinating and tragic true story of Mormon fundamentalism. Under the Banner of Heaven follows the murder of an infant and her mother, Brenda. The brothers, Dan and Ron, were Mormon fundamentalists who believed they had been ordered by God to kill their victims.
The book explores the history of Mormon fundamentalism and the emergence of religious hysteria based on fundamentalist ideas. Under the Banner of Heaven shows how religion has distorted the perception of religion by making it seem more threatening.
The author's story outlines a case for re-evaluating religion in general. There's a case for the Catholic Church's approach to religion.
But this case is far from the only one. Some readers will have to question whether religion is legitimate, while others will be horrified by its twisted interpretation.
The series is based on the true crime reporting in the novel, and it is an interesting combination of history and fiction. Banner centers around the 1984 knife murder of Brenda Lafferty and her 15-month-old daughter, Erica.
The book is an absorbing, thought-provoking read for those who love true crime novels and are interested in the dynamics of Evelyn. Under the Banner of Heaven, Krakauer focuses on religious fundamentalists in America.
In the book, two brothers, Dan and Ron Lafferty, became fundamentalists. Their family was abused, and their father clubbed a family dog to death with a baseball bat.
They married several wives to avoid anti-bigamy laws. The Lafferty brothers also killed Dan's sister and her infant daughter with less remorse than a farmer butchering a pig.
Although Lafferty's book is largely based on actual events, Under the Banner of Heaven weaves flashbacks from early church days, introducing Joseph Smith as a young pariah. The book is structured in 3 timelines, with one timeline being in the present and another encompassing Joseph Smith's early years as a young man.
Sully Denton's interest in fringe Latter-day Saint teachings. Sully Denton's interest in fringe Mormon teachings began with her mother, Jean Rio.
A recently widowed English mother of 7, Jean Rio was a highly educated, musically talented, deeply spiritual woman. She was motivated to join the Mormon Church by Mormon missionaries.
After a long and arduous Atlantic crossing, she emigrated to Utah. She kept a diary, which Sully Denton uses as the basis for her book.
Sally Denton's interest in fringe Mormon teachings was first piqued by the Mountain Meadows Massacre, a white-on-white atrocity that killed 140 people. Mormon doctrine argues that killing a grievous sinner atoned for the sins of his people.